Good morning, colleagues. If we may settle down so we can begin the process of today. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, colleagues. Welcome to today's proceedings. We have invited members to join the meeting either physically or virtually, which then effectively made this meeting hybrid on the basis that the meeting was a bit urgent and the dates kept on changing. I'd like to firstly welcome everyone into this meeting, and I believe we are also streamed live. We will open our meeting with a prayer or meditation, so if we may just give 1 minute of moment of silence. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. On the application for leave of absence, we have received the leave or the leave of absence from the CM, and I think there is the delegated officials will be able to attend to the matters that may require the attention or the response from the office. We don't have necessarily any other leave applications. However, the procedure for leave will then be followed, which is 72 hours after or 48 hours before. Then we'll consider all the leave applications if they then come before us. I was also then informed now that we do form quorum with the members that have joined us online. I can see quite a number of them due to the short notice. Before us, colleagues, we have item number 3 on the agenda, which is the matters for consideration. There's the office from the Office of the Speaker, the oversight report on the 2023-2024 annual report of the City of Tshwane and its entities. The report is found on page 4 until page 738, with the recommendations on page 32. I would also like to believe that this report has been accessed by members because it was then uploaded on the SharePoint, and also there are some amendments which will be handled and addressed by the relevant parties from the Office of the Accounting Officer, which is the CM. The report is hereby tabled, colleagues, for engagement because this particular report is meant to serve in the council that is supposed to sit on Thursday. That then necessitated us to come sit here even without necessarily giving you sufficient notice. But because it's a legislated report, we had to push to sit today. So with that being said, the report is now before you. Councillors who are online, councillors who are with us, and of course all other stakeholders that are here, we can engage on the report. Thank you. All right, as we are prepping, it seems that councillors, I don't know if I'm audible there online, but either way, maybe we'll then give the office of the CM an opportunity to explain to us what exactly happened, because there is, I believe, information that was then omitted when this report was tabled in council, which then brings forth some complications, and I would like to give that opportunity to whoever that is delegated from the office of the CM to explain to us in terms of the annexures and also information that is been brought to my attention that has been omitted and so on.
Chair, can you repeat the issue that you are raising that we must respond to? Sorry, we did not pick it up. Apologies.
All right, thank you. Maybe just to repeat it, I'm saying that it seems that there is a letter from the CM's office that was trying to address a significant issue which may have been omitted during the process of or during the report in council. So it's important for us to note these things so that it doesn't come back to us at a later stage. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Chair. We understand. I'll ask Group Head Anisha to explain the letter. Thanks.
Good morning, Chairperson and councillors and colleagues. Yes, the letter from the city manager is in relation to errors and omissions that the AG found on the annual report that was tabled at council in January. Chairperson will recall that when the annual report was tabled at council, it had, the AG report was forwarded on the day of council. Due to time constraints and so on, the correct AG report was not included in the annual report, and therefore the AG had not yet pronounced on the annual report. The AG's office did look at the annual report and the financial statements. The AG's office identified a few errors and omissions on the annual report pertaining to the capture of information or the accuracy of updates subsequent to the audit, and those are contained in the actual letter that was submitted by the city manager. The memo indicates what was found by the AG subsequent to the audit, and where it has been updated on the actual annual report. And it's important to note that the AG did send this input during February, and when we engaged the AG's office on the updates as required, the AG then at the end of February, particularly on the 27th of February, signed off on the documents to say they are now satisfied that the corrections were made as required, and therefore, Chairperson, the updated annual report and the correct audited financial statements as signed off by the AG at the time of the council meeting, but which was not captured in the council agenda, has been submitted by the city manager attached to this memo, so that the correct version of the annual report and financial statements can be printed subsequent to consultation. If you look at the attachments, Chairperson, it's really about updates that were needed in terms of when the AG audited the AOPO and the financial statements. So, for example, if you look at the chapter on service delivery, When the AG audited, we had to update information on the scorecard, but that information needed to also follow through in terms of the executive summary and some of the contextual information beyond the scorecard. So the information might have been corrected on the scorecard, but it might not have been captured correctly as part of the narrative explanations, and these are some of the corrections. The same would apply to the audited financial statements, and then how that information translated into the narrative part of the document and the overviews on the annual report. So there wasn't anything that was changed in terms of actual performance. It was about consistency of capturing the information from the scorecards and from the audited financial statements across to the narrative portions of the document. There are one or two typographical errors that were picked up, and these include, for example, on page 74, where we had a table that had a missing heading, for example, on table 16. So these have all been now signed off, and as you would see from the communication that was sent, the actual emails from the AG agreeing that the document was now corrected was attached. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. I think Councillor Madlong, you wanted to chip in earlier on. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chairperson. Yeah, really, I take note of the report, and then as MPEC, really, we are concerned about the ongoing non-compliance, but I don't think it's for us to really entertain the report now. It's just to take note as the report is already earmarked for council, but thanks for the report. And then, as I told you, Chair, I have to leave early for the next meeting. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Matlo. There is hand number 1 from Councillor Peter Sutton, and the second hand will be Councillor Tsepo Katle. The third hand will be Councillor Rodney Mabusela. Thank you. In that order, please. Okay, I think there might be a technical glitch because it seems that for some muted from time to time. If someone from technical could assist us, please. We can't get audio from the councillors who are online. Thank you. Right. Due to these technical glitches, let's rather take a 10 minutes body. If being on and off from time to time. Maybe someone from IT would then assist us, and then we'll resume the meeting. Thank you.
The meeting still remains off record. We're just testing the system now. Let's request one of the councillors online, Councillor Peter Sutton, for the purpose of testing the system. Let's check if you are still muted. Councillor Peter Sutton, can you just speak for the purpose of testing whether you are still muted? Councillor Peter Sutton, please also on your side, please make sure that you did not activate the mute button. Councillor Peter Sutton, please keep on trying.
Thank you. Testing.
Finally, we can. Still testing. Let's try Councillor Khatle. Just for the purpose of testing to see if you're also muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. And thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, sure. Let's test again, please, Councillor Sutton.
Chair, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that's good news. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Chair, thank you. I'm going to be to the point. It sounds like there's been semantic changes. That's
Councillor,
okay.
Councillor Peter Sutton, we are not yet back into the meeting. We are just testing the system.
No, I want them to continue. We're wasting time now. This is not fair.
Yeah, please, you'll continue when the chairperson takes the podium. The chairperson is still out. He will announce the meeting must resume. But for now, we're just doing for the purpose of testing the system, if you are still muted. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, councillors. There will be an interruption here in terms of echo. However, I've been assured that the people on Teams are not going to pick up that echo. Without wasting your time, we had hands, Comrade Peter Sutton, Comrade Tsepo, and Comrade Rodney. In that order, please.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible to you? Thank you.
Yeah, you can proceed.
Thank you. I'll proceed. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback from the officials. And on face value, from what they explained, it seems like it's very much semantics that have been corrected. But I do want to get their view of how does this affect the public participation process that have taken place. Will this in any way have an argument to be made that the public participation process is null and void because of these changes? And what will be the effect to that? I think that's very important for us to understand, because we do have to adopt the annual report on Thursday, and I understand the urgency for this, but we also need to understand that it's gone through a process of public participation. And if there's any information that would have altered the opinion of the public as part of that process because of the omittance of the information, we need to know and understand that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Peter. We will now allow Councillor Tsepo.
Thanks a lot, Chairman. My input is that it's important that we have serious checks and balance, because this thing of document has been a cry out in MPEC for a very long time. And I feel like the magnitude and of the importance of this document should really be given serious attention, and we need the office of the city manager or whoever is in charge of this process should do better next time and try to have better systems in place to make sure that such deficiencies don't occur again, and we avoid such things like, Peter Sutton already raised a issue that might be legal in nature, and that can cause a lot of havoc and really create. I hope the impact is not such huge. They will be able to explain that the impact was so huge. And I think the insight of council to referring this document to MPEG so that we do more scrutiny, and they will have a perfect version when it goes back to council. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Councillor Tsepo. Councillor Rodney. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Am I audible, Chairperson?
That's correct.
Yeah, my two colleagues have covered some of the aspects that I wanted to raise in particular. the one of public comments, because when I was reading the report, I see that all public comments were done on February, maybe 15th or so of February, and I'm not sure whether when did the AG agreed with the errors that has been rectified by the city. And Chairperson, I'm not sure whether you are in the, I think you are in the position of the letter from the AG containing the issues raised. From my side, I'm not sure whether members of MPEC does have that particular letter. Myself, I don't have it. I thought maybe it will be shared on the SharePoint so that we can understand what was the gist of the matters raised by the AG. Currently, we are just saying issues have been raised, but some of us, we couldn't even check what were those issues and what were the extent of affecting us. I think that letter need to be shared with us if it was not, Chairperson. And secondly, the other, I'm not sure, maybe the officials will assist me here. There is a circular 63 of National Treasury which guide all the municipalities as to how they need to consolidate the annual reports and the information required in that annual report. And I think if the municipality followed that circular 63, the issues raised by the AGU were going to be avoided, Chairperson. But I'm not sure which method are they utilizing apart from circular 63 to consolidate the annual report. But lastly and more importantly, Chairperson, it's important that these annual reports, before they could even submit it to public or Auditor General, they go through internal processes. We have APC, Chairperson, we have internal audit. That could help us to identify those matters before they could be identified by the Auditor General. I think we need to check, Chairperson, the effectiveness of those structures, because it will embarrassing that every time that Auditor General need to rectify us about our own report, annual report, that were guided by section 63, circular 63. So we need to utilize these internal structures to say, audit committee, please assist us here with the financial statement, the quality of financial statement before they could even submit it there, so that we know that, Chairperson, we are not going to be corrected by external structures. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rodney. The letter will be shared. Scalo is handling it now, and you should have it on your mailboxes. Is there any further deliberations from members? Right. So, as we see the recommendations on page 32. Oh, okay, great. Councillor Tinnison?
Thank you, Chair. I'm assuming that impact meeting where the initial report was tabled. So do we have the opportunity to make some comments on what we read in the current report? At that stage, I was not a member of impact. So I do have a couple of things that I'd like to point out to the committee. Can I continue?
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, just a moment. Chair, I'm looking at page 21. The basis, this is now the basis for qualified opinion, audit opinion, which includes infrastructure and community assets that were not correctly valued. And then other receivables, on the first paragraph, other receivables from exchange transactions. No sufficient audit evidence obtained from sundry rentals and miscellaneous receivables disclosed as part of the receivables for exchanging had been properly accounted for. Now, in my mind, I see this is a huge red light because if we can't audit our miscellaneous receivables, that's rental of the council's property, if I understand correctly. And then just a paragraph below that, housing company received a qualified audit with findings. This indicates a regression of the previous audit. So I'm very concerned about our entities, and I think we should get more regular reports on improvement that they have made in regard to what has been pointed out by the Auditor General and also by the Audit and Risk Committee. Housing company, yeah, sorry. The next one I want to take you to is on page 28. AGA has raised persistent control deficiency over the years, and this is what's very worrying. These include areas of improvement in controls relating to preparation of financial statements, asset management, expenditure management, procurement and contract management, and information systems and technology. Now, if I just look at those, this is a huge red light flickering here. We are not managing our expenditure properly. According to this, we are not managing contracts properly. And then our information systems and technology are letting us down in terms of probably also reporting effectively and accurately. So that's a big problem to me. And then I want to take you to page 28. I do have a concern there. The consequence management, that paragraph, line managers, and this is very important, line managers do not take responsibility for exercising consequent management, and approach is splintered, slow and unsupported. So if you read just the sentence above that, it says that improvements were mainly because of the intervention of accounting officer and political oversight. Who are letting us down here? Chair, this is the middle management that are letting the community or the municipality down in this case. And this is a very serious thing, and I would like to get a follow-up report in this regard. Otherwise, I will request it as part of calling of reports at the next meeting. And then on page 31, if I look there, APC receives regular reports about non-compliance with laws applicable. In particular, the AG has raised issues regarding ineffectiveness of internal controls and financial reporting, asset management, and expenditure management. It's a repetition of what was previously said. And we must also take in, I think in last week, the Auditor General made a statement to say that they are finding that UIF is increasingly just being approved, but no investigations are being done in this regard. That was a general statement by the Office of the Auditor General. And then AGA's identification of non-compliance and supply chain management has decreased compared to the prior year, and they have not been, but they have noticed some improvement, so that's well done. Nevertheless, there are still incidents of unfair and uncompetitive procurement processes, not adherence to preferential point regulations, slow investigation, and irregular expenditures. This is also a red light. So just highlighting a couple of things. We need our middle management to take control. We need them to start doing what they are supposed to be doing. And I will, at the next impact meeting, call for some reports in this regard. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tinson. Any other hand? Thank you. So if you check the recommendations on page 32, I think the recommendations are read as follows on record. That the CFOs. Councillor Tinson, are you saying something? Okay. I will proceed. I thought someone wanted to say something. The recommendations are the accounting office and the CFO strengthen internal controls and outstanding forensic investigations and report progress on this impact on this to impact monthly, effective from May 2025. Number 2 is that the accounting officer on a monthly basis submit the following to impact effectively from May 2025. With the following bullet points being that the UIFW case register of the City of Tshwane. Number 2 is that the consequence management interventions and recoveries from losses incurred, and the last one is that the progress report on the Executive Audit Committee. And then the recommendation number 3 is that the Council approves this annual report without reservation, and due to the developments that we picked up, of course, with the letter from the CM, is that we should strongly consider as a committee to adopt or recommend that Council adopt this annual report with reservations as opposed to without reservations, so that we are able to attend to it at the later stage, should the need arise. I don't know if we are comfortable, councillors, with that proposal. Right. I will note the name at the hand of Councillor Rodney, and then Councillor Tinson first, and then Councillor Rodney. Then we will engage. Thank you.
With reservations, but are you proposing specific reservations, or is it just a general statement that you are making? Because as I have mentioned earlier, there are some things that we need to inquire. There's one thing to read the report and to say we accept the report from the AG and everything is fine. But for me, the more important matter is that we must identify and establish activities or actions that will address the concerns that were raised by the AG and also by Mr. Cameron Ellis and his committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Councillor Rodney.
No, thanks, Chair. Recommendation number 4. Is it number 4 to say Council approve this annual report without reservations? There are reservations raised by a Auditor General, and as a committee of MPEC, those reservations need to be taken into consideration by Council, so that in future they cannot be repeated. As much as we have been told that they were corrected, but they were supposed to be avoided. So I agree with you that one of the reservations is the issues raised by Auditor General in terms of how the annual report was formulated and those issues raised there, because I don't have the letter. So yeah, I think you are correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tsepo, and then, no, Councillor Karabo first, and then Councillor Tsepo. So, and the acting, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I would like to second that proposal that we accept the recommendation with reservation, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tsepo.
Chairperson, we are a committee of council, and councillors tasked us with responsibility of making sure that we bring back a report that they can trust. I think rather we're having expertise of officials in here. Maybe they need to give us a legal input on that recommendation so that we are clear that by saying with reservations in adopting the report, we do have done our legal prerequisite of making sure that we table the right report by Thursday. Because I would hate the fact that we table the report and then we realize that we failed as council in making sure that by the end of March we would have done what we need to do. So rather get advice, because of the purpose of audit outcomes is to kind of like we'll have a list of things that we need to do to make sure that we, as Impact, do our work, get a better report the next financial year. So that is part of the things that are noted. There are many issues in the report that the city failed in this regard. They are highlighted and they are noted. And all those issues, we're gonna do a action program as Impact to say how do we monitor and make sure that those issues don't resurface in the next audit outcome. So that's the challenge that I have. I want to make sure I agree with you, I support you, because it gives us a window. By the end of the day, let's check the legality behind that, with reservation. Would we have done justice to the adoption of the report? That's what I want to check. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Councillor. I think the councillors have done in terms of well. Who's going to start? So, is it you first? Okay. Yes, you can go ahead. Well, whichever one is fine, really.
Okay.
You'll decide how you handle it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. I would like to make a comment on the issue that you have raised with reference to the fact that the city manager has subsequently made a recommendation, or rather advised that the report must be adopted with reservations. Chair, I am not sure, because the report that I have and the letter that was written by the city manager to give context to the feedback that was provided to the Auditor General, it clarified the fact that there were omissions in the and just cosmetic issues that were addressed in response to the feedback that the city had received from the Auditor General, and as such is advising the committee to adopt the report and giving full confidence that all those matters, as it is clearly stated in the letter, were subsequently addressed and responded to the Auditor General. And therefore, any reference to the fact that he is recommending that the report should be adopted with reservations is not stated in his letter, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will come back to you on that one. I think you might have not heard me correctly. I said that due to the developments that came with the letter, I'm not saying that the letter from the CM's office states that we should. No, I'm referencing that. I was not necessarily interpreting it as such, but I mean, the GSO will chip in and then we'll deliberate further. Thank you very much.
No, thanks, Chair. MSO. The I think the input from acting CM speaks to, Chair, what you were proposing. I was saying the input from acting CM speak to perhaps the proposal which you were making, which maybe we might be asking that we persuade you to be speaking to what the resolution of the report is. And correctly, when the inputs were made from the councillors, I thought we'll also afford us an opportunity just to speak to some of the issues that were raised, because primarily what comes out of the questions and the inputs speaks to what will ultimately speak to the recommendation of the report, especially if issues raised by councillors would have been addressed in terms of our responses. And Chair, I think the issues around, especially those that were raised by Alderman Grandi, those are issues that would ordinarily be covered if you look at the recommendations under recommendations one, under the first recommendation, so that we do not have to address them outside what the recommendations of the committee are saying. And then the last part would then have been around what the responsibility of this committee is to the report. I would imagine when we are giving treatment to the issues in this committee, is to give satisfaction to members of the committee for this report to be going to council with full confidence that we have addressed all the shortcomings before the committee serves at council. Because if we do not do that in this committee and we still send reservations to council, then it means we have not addressed the issues here, which I do not think will be ideal. So I'm requesting that if there are issues or questions, we then be given an opportunity or afforded an opportunity to respond to those questions, which I think is something that we are able to do. And then we will be able to process this report in line with what the expectation is on the part of the committee. We will deal with all the other issues, Chair, through the recommendations that are addressed in this report, as we have correctly read them, particularly recommendation number 1 and 2.
Okay, thank you. Before I think we go further, is that we need to bring, section 129(1), subsection 1 of the MFMA. So basically the options that we have here is 3 options. It's either we approve the report, the annual report with or without reservations, as number A. B is that we approve the report, or that we say the report is rejected. That's what then we'll have to come up with as a resolution or recommendation. Then the third recommendation that the annual report be referred or the revision of the components of the annual report. I think it's A, B, and C. So basically, I think that goes to Councillor Tsepo's view. Now, Councillor Grandi says that, are we going for specific reservations? The ideal I think don't mute or something. There's something that you guys are doing there. So the ideal situation here is that we don't necessarily go in. So we don't go into detail in terms of what are the reservations. Then that we are able to deal with and drill down to on the next impact meeting. But be that as it may, I mean, the challenge is that if then we feel as a committee that there are certain issues that we need to still attend to, we might want to attend to at a later stage. And then the report is being approved without reservations. And it creates other challenges for us as a committee. I'm not sure if there is any other. I know Director Mashaba wanted to also chip in. Maybe she can do that. And then I see the hand of the GSO and then the 3 councillors online. Maybe Councillor, so maybe then what would happen, the director will chip in, and then we'll then entertain the GSO's hand, and then the three, of course, yes, you maybe come after the three councillors, or just after the GSO, then the councillors. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. I think Chairperson has clarified the section of the legislation that guides. So I just wanted to remind colleagues, the MSO and the team from City Manager. When the committee says they are approving the annual report with reservations, Chair has indicated that there are only three options. And the committee is then actually being lenient. Because option 2 says the committee can advise council to reject the report based on the concerns that members raised to say what was taken for public participation was not having some information, which was the amendments that were stated on record. So when the committee says they are approving the report with reservation, the committee understands that there has been compliance. We can say 90% compliance. It's not that the annual report, most parts of it are faulty. The reservations are to make sure that that is the provision that legislation make. And the three options that Chairperson read, instead of rejecting the annual report and saying, go back with it, go and deal with the issues, bring the letter from the AG, we are then missing the compliance. As we know that the oversight report should go to council by the end of March. But remember, secondly, the oversight report is the report of MPEG. It's not the report of the city manager. So also just to address what Chairperson already clarified to say, city manager will not be able to say to the committee, adopt the report without reservation. The city manager and the team has done the part by putting the issues on the table, which need to be considered based on your engagements with the AG. So the committee, having satisfaction that you are aware of areas that need to be dealt with, is saying we are then going to comply in terms of submitting the report to council and giving council assurance that you can adopt the report because MPEC has played oversight on the report. Public participation has been done. The part that one of the members was raising to say was the public misled. MPEC, in its meeting, those meetings are open to the public. They are also on YouTube. A follow-up that will be made on the amendments which were presented here will be part that also brings to the public them to note what omissions were in the report or what amendments were there. MPEC can still even go on the public hearings on all the 7 regions to say this is the product that we adopted and this is the process that MPEC is embarking on. One of the members indicated that as you get the details, the committee can play oversight specifically on those details in public meetings where the public can get assurance that you were not misled, there were errors, council has adopted the report, but there is a process to complete the very annual report. In the report, the last part here was that the annual report could be sent back for revision for the very components that we are presenting this morning. That's why I'm saying those are the only 3 options. And it becomes MPEC decision to say, do we adopt with or without reservation? So I thought we just needed to amplify that and place the reasons that it's not punitive. If it was punitive, the committee would have gone to option B or C, to either refer this report back or to reject it, to say we can't on this week of council be still engaging on the amendments and the errors, and noting also even the repeated audit findings which were raised. So I thought we should just clarify it so that you don't see what Chairperson is presenting as something that is not acceptable. It's legislated. There are only 3 options. MPEC has to decide based on those 3. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Director. We'll take the hand of the GSO if it's you're still proceeding. Okay, let's go. Thank you.
Chair, thank you very much. Chair, we're making a proposition, and I think my request emanates out of the questions that were raised by councillors. Firstly, it was to, which I think ideally we would still want to do. There were questions that were raised by councillors, which I think would have requested of us to respond. The first part. The second issue is that the recommendations will then, obviously, as you entertain the recommendations, be at the strength of the responses that we'll be providing to yourselves around some of the questions that are asked by councillors. Ordinarily, Chair, the questions, as I indicated, some of those, particularly inputs by Councillor Grandi and others, were around issues that speaks to the content of the report, and they were already phrased, as I indicated, in line with what we would have looked at under recommendation 1, which I said was part of the report. But we did not want to speak to those recommendations before addressing the concerns that were raised by members of the committee. We will speak to the strength of the recommendation number 3, if necessary, when we know we have not adequately dealt with the responses of with the responses as it relates to questions that were asked by the councillors, Chair. And then the other part, Chair, I think AGSA, they are also part of this meeting. They are on the line in the event that there should be any form of clarifications around some of the issues that were raised in line with what they wrote to us, which I think it would not necessarily be impeding to the proposals that we have made around the process as we have outlined it in terms of the report, Chair. Thank you. I have requested an input from Group 8. I think she will still speak to it.
Yeah, you may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just to clarify a few matters, the annual report that was tabled at Council in January on the audit of predetermined objectives, audited information was contained in the report. So if you look at the provision in the scorecard, in that actual annual report, it's audited by the Auditor General. Further, the AG's report was tabled at Council. So when it came to public consultation, the presentation that was made to the public hearings was based on the audited financial statements and the audit of predetermined objectives, which means that all the AG matters and concerns were raised in those meetings, and the performance as presented was audited performance. What was the issue that was raised by the Auditor General, as indicated earlier, was that the information contained in the scorecard as audited was not captured in a specific chapter and aligned subsequent to the audit. So there's one portion of the annual report that has got the actual audited information, and there's another portion of the annual report which is normally a summary of what is audited on the tables that did not take that information across, and those were the minor errors on transferring that information. But what was presented to the public during consultation was audited information. On the other issues, Chairperson, definitely the organization did use Circular 63 to prepare the annual report. Where the challenges emerged on these minor discrepancies that we've picked up was on timing issues on getting the final audited financial statements and the final AG report into the council meeting. And that's where the capturing process was challenged. As the final AG report was tabled in council. So what happened was the document that was made public was what was tabled at council, including the audit report of the AG, which means that the public was fully aware of all the concerns raised by the Auditor General. So the document that is before you now, or the documents before you now, have taken into consideration the minor issues raised during the public consultation process, which is not fundamental issues, as it does not contradict any of the information. This is a little bit challenging. Any of the information that the AG did audit, it was cosmetic matters to bring consistency across from the audit into the actual summary part of the document. So I think I just wanted to clarify that, and definitely our internal processes and the management of timelines could be better improved, and we are working on that. A chairperson, to make sure that the next round is better. And the city manager has been working subsequent to all the to the AG report, working on processes within the organization in terms of addressing all the issues that were raised as concerns by the Auditor General. And I think that feedback in terms of requesting reports can come through from yourselves, Chairperson. But we have addressed all the minor issues that were raised, which, as I've indicated, are cosmetic, and the AG has indicated that they're satisfied that those minor issues have been addressed, and that's why the feedback email of the AG was attached as well as evidence by the city manager, so that council so that this committee may recommend to council that this version of the annual report with the audited financial statements be adopted, because it has addressed fine issues. Otherwise, we will not have the authority to print this annual report. We will have to print the version that was there with the minor errors, and that would not be wise for us to print a document with errors. Thank you, Chairperson. I hope I've clarified.
Right, thank you. The councillors in the following order: Councillor Chinesen, Councillor David, and Councillor Rodney.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, if we look at recommendation number 3, is it necessary to say with or without reservations? Why can we not merely just accept the report and approve it? I would like to propose a small amendment and say recommendation 3 as follows: that that council approves the annual report and takes note with concern of issues raised in the report by the AG for appropriate action to address these matters. Whatever the matters are, then it's I think that's a bit of a compromise. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Grandi, before we go on with other councillors, the options that we have are on page 5 on the report that is uploaded. Now, it's legislated, of course, as per section 129. It's under the section that is discussion, which is number 4. We only have 3 options to select from. You can't start to change MFMA, because effectively what you are proposing seeks to tamper with what is legislated as per MFMA, Section 129(1). So your proposal, unfortunately, can't stand on those bases. Now we can continue with others. You can have your second bite once the round is done. So we'll go all the way to Councillor Esther. Is it Councillor? Yeah, Councillor Esther Masuku. Then after Councillor Esther Masuku, maybe then Councillor Grandi will get your second bite, but effectively there's not much we can do. Councillor David?
Thank you, Chair. One thing is that these annual reports are always a work in progress. We've got an annual report. It's been explained how the figures have got to. What we have to realize as a committee is we're never going to get a perfect annual report. So I would suggest we accept the report with reservations, and then we as a committee work on interrogating the parts which we're not happy about. There are a lot of very good things that have been mentioned in this report that we need to ask for reports and interrogate further. But where it is at the moment, the explanations I've got have convinced me that this report is legal and trustworthy. We've just got to accept it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Rodney?
No, Chair, let me lower my hand. There is a valuable response from director seated next to you. I think it assisted us a lot. Need to ensure that our recommendations are accurate and clear. So that recommendation from where I'm sitting, that we accept the report without reservations, Chairperson, it is ambiguous. We need to accept their reservations. The group head from City Manager indicated that the letter from the Auditor General was attached as part of transparency. So I think, Chair, even if we are not detailing the reservations, but that I think that is the way to then proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rodney. Councillor Tsepo Katle, followed by Councillor Esther. Thank you.
Chairperson, I concur with David there. There's never been a perfect report adopted every year. You know, choices are there, but each choice is directing us somewhere as council. You can make any choice. It's not like spin the bottle. It's the consequences of the choice. They explain that you can, if we do it with reservation, it means that it will be difficult for them to print out as an adopted report. What does, now I wanted to understand, I'm learning here, I'm still a learner after many years. What are the consequences of our choices? If we choose A, what does it mean? If we choose, it's like write off, you write it off. Recovery, you have to collect money from somebody else. There's in the accounting, something happens on you. Write off, it moves out of your accounting, it's written off, no longer exists. Recovery, there's an action that has to happen, there's money expected to come to the city's coffers. There's activity, everything that you choose creates an activity or an expectation on our sides. So all I'm saying is that as the choices are there, it's important that we understand the type of choices that we make and the consequences of those choices. And that's why my question, I feel I was not answered. I understand the three choices that are there, but it's important that we understand that after making a choice, there's a responsibility behind the choices that we make. And it's quite important that we, whether with or without reservation, as MPEC, we really get clarity and a clear consciousness as we make these choices. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Esther Masuku. We'll come to you.
What the advices we got from the director on our issues, on choosing which option to take. And I would like to concur with Councillor Katla when he says, let's not just do things haphazardly, but let's be careful in saying we approve with reservations or without reservations. But my bite was to say, let's take it with reservations. That will be my submission.
Right, thank you. I think after the acting CM, right? So we'll then take Mapaledi online, so we can go.
Chair, I just wanted to bring to your attention that Ms. Marota has been instrumental in dealing with Auditor General in this issue. Probably if she provides a context, it will change the views of the committee members. Safe to say, Chair, if the sole reason for the committee to suggest that the report must be submitted with reservations is based on the Auditor General issues which have been adequately addressed, probably before you take a final decision, it would be advisable that we get a response from the AG, because from the administration, our view is that all matters that had been raised by the Auditor General, they've been adequately addressed, and therefore the reservations, if they are based solely on the fact that there were issues that were raised, then there would be no justification, Chair. And secondly, the impact of that decision may have a reputational damage into the institution.
Thank you. We'll take the hand of Mayor Paledi. Is she still interested? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm not going to talk to the issue of recommendations. I raised my hand even earlier to address some of the issues that the councillors have raised. Unfortunately, maybe my hand was towards the end, hence you couldn't identify it. Firstly, I want to respond to the issue that was raised by Councillor Tshepo-Kgatle as to whether what was done has any legal implications. If you look at the section that was quoted in the letter that was sent by the city manager, the law does allow, in terms of section 127, subsection 5, that immediately after the report has been tabled, which means is the time when it goes for consultation. In terms of subsection B, Auditor General is one of the stakeholders that has to get that report so that they can approve that indeed what is in the in the annual report is what they agree to and has passed all the ethical clearance processes that they have at the level, which I think after I've spoken, maybe Mr. Golani can speak to that to advise the committee as to whether what they have done is wrong or right. And also, if you look, there are other stakeholders such as your provincial treasury and other departments, which they have a role to play in terms of compliance matters that relates to media reporting that we have been doing, including National Treasury as the custodian of the annual report format. So those are the stakeholders that when you are doing your public participation consulting with communities, they also have a role to play in the annual report. Hence, that section is saying they must also be given that document after it has been tabled to council. And secondly, the printed audit report or annual report, it can only be printed after we got authorization from the Auditor General, which is the reason why we circulated those emails which had comments for transparency purposes as to what is it that AG has identified, and also circulated an email whereby AG was saying, we agree, this is the final document that you can print. And to also cover the issues that were raised, if you look at the public notice of the speaker, the closing date of the comments was the 14th of March, And all this information that we're discussing now that relates to Auditor General raising issues, it was submitted on the 3rd of March, which means it was still within the closing date of the consultation process, and their comments had to be considered so that the finally printed annual report, it can be a fair and true reflection of what even Auditor General agrees to. There is nothing wrong with the process that has been done, and we have complied with all the legislations that requires us to comply to before the final annual report can be approved by council or even be printed. Thanks very much, Chairperson. I wish you can allow Tolani to talk to that so that he can give you the evidence that we did nothing wrong by making sure we amend all the things based on the comments that they have done. It's best practice done in all municipalities and is even supported by the law. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The hand of Mr. Tolani is now recognized. Then I think the hand of Councillor David is a historic hand. So Abu Tolani will go first, and then we'll engage afterwards. Thank you.
No, thank you, Chair, and members, council. I think, like Mayor indicated, so the process of reviewing the annual report is an annual process to ensure that subsequent to the audit process, whatever that is put in the annual report is consistent in terms of what we have audited in the financial statements and the performance report. Remember, Chair, we audit the financial statements and the performance report as part of the audit process. However, the annual report would include a number of reports, one from council, one from audit committee, one from the CM's office, which is speaking to the documents that we've audited. So part of the process that we then follow subsequent to ideally before the annual report is published, is to make sure that, for example, if in the APR that we reviewed, the performance was sitting at 70%, but then in the CM's report, for example, he's indicating a performance level of 81%. So those inconsistencies would be things that we look for, such that when we look at the variance reports, they are aligned and consistent with the numbers that are included in the audited documents. So we do that as part of ensuring that before the annual report is published, there is that consistency. Obviously, then, Chair, in terms of, I would believe that attached to the annual report would be the audited financial statements and the audited performance report. In terms of the process, I think the main issue becomes if the final document has been published and put on the website before those errors are corrected, which in this instance, that process has not yet unfolded. We were able to review before that. And I think by the time the publishing happens, if the accurate document is what is then put up or published after all these processes as a final document, then that would be then the document that we would want to be out there, which in this instance, from what we've looked at, we are comfortable that all the issues that we identified in the annual report have been addressed, Chair. So I think in relation to the processes, in the context of where we fit in, we guard against an incorrect document being published as a final document, which I think we are still within those processes leading up to the final publication. and our inputs have been incorporated with the documents that have been presented to the committee. Thank you, Chair. I hope that makes sense and assists.
All right, thank you very much. I would believe I've exhausted all hands. Well, colleagues, due to the nature of the report here that we are dealing with at the current views that are on the table, we are requesting that we take at least 15 minutes break, and at about 11:05 we can come back and conclude the business of the day. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much and welcome back to the sitting of today. We went on some 15 minutes. We tend to be 20 minutes caucus break, just so that we can try and find each other and understand the legal implications of the decisions that we may take in relation to the recommendations on page 32. The unfortunate part, it seems that we are having mixed reactions from the House. Now, that being said, I would like to just check with the House and especially the councillors, because now I believe this is the time that the final call must be made. Then we adopt or recommend this to full council. So the recommendation 3, it seems to be what we are grappling with here. What was noted or what was put on the report that was uploaded on the SharePoint is that the council approved the annual report without reservation. Then there is the part of the committee that feels that we should approve it without recommendation. Others are, well, with recommendation. My apologies. So it's with or without recommendation. There is either reservations. My apology. So there is a part of the committee that says we should recommend for the approval of the report with reservations, and there is a part of a committee which recommends that we should approve this or recommend for the approval of this report without reservations. Now, I can see there's a number of hands, starting with Councillor Zela here with us, followed by Councillor Tsebo, going to Councillor David and Councillor Chinesen. So, in that order, starting with Councillor Zela, and we'll move on like that. Thank you.
No, thanks, Chair. Chair, I think if there are mixed reactions, we can do likewise. We can vote like we do in council, because I've got, on my side, I've got a feeling that if we don't do that, it will be unfair. As seated here, I move for the adoption without reservations. Thank you. The recommendation that is without reservation. So if need be, let's vote, because we'd waste time to say this. You can't satisfy our feelings. Here we are not dealing with feelings here. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tsebo.
Thanks a lot, Chairperson. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes. Yeah. My understanding of public participation is that it's not telling people what is contained in the report. It's getting input. They will get input. They will find clarity. They might even add or subtract certain things from the report. They will work on the report and give us advice. So I think what the officials are trying to say is that the public consultation, including ourselves, the Auditor Generals, were there to make sure that we try to find errors in the report, fix them before the final adoption, so that the final adoption is consensus of all the stakeholders in place. So I don't think there's any string smash at this level where the error was found by either party, myself. Even today, I can say there's a problem. The officials should be able to fix it, edit it, and then when it's adopted with, it's like minutes with omission and all those things. But what I'm saying is that it's part of the process. and if we are satisfied with the content of the report at this moment, I think we should just adopt it and process it and make sure that the officials are able to print it out and it becomes an official document so that we can focus on the next leg of council, which is preparing for the next financial year. Thanks a lot.
With or without reservation?
Without reservations, please.
Thank you. Councillor David?
Thank you, Chair. I must say our officials are very convincing. They've convinced me into saying we should adopt this report without reservation. But what we would like from our side is to say that the messes that have been made in the process have made it very, very difficult, and we just wanted to record it, that it's put us in a very difficult position, and we are happy with the reassurances from the city manager and the finance team and everyone that how the process has been handled and how things have been done. But we would like some reflection that there was problems with the setting up of this report, and we now trust this is now up to standard. So that's an adoption without reservation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor David. Councillor Grandi?
Thank you, Chair. I think I also have a better understanding after listening to the inputs that were made by colleagues and also by the administration. So I can concur because what I understand now, it's the content of the report, not the findings in the report that goes without reservation. So I think based on the advice, and I need this to be recorded, on the advice of the accounting officer and the Auditor General, we can approve, council can approve this report without any reservations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Grandi. Councillor Rodney?
No, thanks, Chair. David has submitted our position in terms of without reservations, Chairperson. But we need to also to highlight that as members of this committee, ours is not COO is not to manage reputation. Is to ensure that we do what is right in line with legislation. Those who need to manage reputation is officials. Ours is to ensure that everything was being exhausted to the latter in terms of legislation, everything was followed and the compliance, it was adhered to. If you can check, Chairperson, as your homework, when the Auditor General was presenting here, and he is here, he can correct me, he said one of the error that was in the report, it was that when they were, after they audited, the performance was at 71%. But then after that, when they were reviewing the report, the performance was sitting at 81%. Chairperson, you could see that there was someone who was trying to manipulate so that it can look better. Fortunately, the AG have seen it. But when we were asking questions now in the meeting, we've been told that no, it was just a cosmetic issues, nothing material. But I can tell you, if the AG didn't see that manipulation, it was going to have a fundamental legal implication to us. So there were no cosmetic issues, Chairperson, is your homework. If we audited and the performance was at 71%, then after when we're reviewing or when we are consulting stakeholders, the performance has changed to 81%. What does it tell you? That is not a cosmetic issue. So from our position, want to request that this kind of issues need to be corrected in future, so that the good governance good governance principles is being adhered to, Chairperson. We are not managing reputation. I repeat, we are holding executive into account. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. I think the views of the committee has been noted. It seems that the committee members have found them, well, each other in relation to that. Recommendation number 3, as recommended. As recommended.
Yeah, boy.
As recommended.
Yeah, boy.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Right. Thank you, councillors and the officials that managed to join us today, the AG's office, and the public that may have joined us virtually. This brings us to the conclusion of today's business. The meeting is officially closed.